Welcome, rational thinkers and champions of evidence-based reasoning, to the Free of Faith podcast. This is the place where we dare to peel back the comforting but opaque layers of faith-based claims and expose their logical shortcomings. Today's question is sharp and fascinating. If we expose the incoherency of a competing ideology, does that somehow make Christianity more probable? Let's dive in and see where reason takes us. Picture this. Climbers stand on the frozen summit of Mount Everest, breathless from the thin air, only to find something bizarre. A truck is oddly parked right there on top of the world. Instantly, material explanations come to mind. Maybe it was lifted by a helicopter. Maybe it was dragged up in parts. Maybe an unlikely natural event carried it. But all those possibilities seem wildly improbable. Now imagine someone offers a different explanation. Superman put it there. Assuming Superman can fly and lift heavy objects as is claimed, it doesn't seem internally incoherent. But does that make it the best explanation? Not at all. The lack of evidence for Superman keeps the theory in the realm of the fantastical. Now, imagine someone else suggests it was actually vampires who dropped the truck on Everest. If the stories are true, vampires can fly nearly as well as Superman. However, the Superman proponent points out a fatal flaw. The truck is full of garlic. Vampires would not be found anywhere close to garlic. The Superman theorist has shown that the vampire theory is internally incoherent. But does that mean the Superman explanation just got more credible? Again, not at all. The implosion of one implausible theory doesn't boost the probability of another. Yet, Christian apologists argue in this fashion. They attack rival worldviews, such as Islam and Hinduism, and claim that Christianity becomes more probable for every other ideology shown to be incoherent. But logic says otherwise. Christianity, like any other untestable ideology, is one among an infinite set of possibilities. Anyone can create and add to the endless number of gods and mythologies, each perhaps internally coherent but untestable. Remove one flawed explanation, and you've hardly dented the infinite field of alternatives. That means disproving Islam or Buddhism or Scientology doesn't make Christianity any more likely than it was before. The probability needle doesn't move. Let's break this down more formally. Christianity belongs to the set of all logically coherent but untestable explanations. Debunking a rival, such as the garlic-fearing vampire deity, doesn't shrink this set. New explanations can always be invented. Therefore, disproving a competitor doesn't boost Christianity's probability in the slightest. Christianity's epistemic standing remains unchanged. Now, contrast that with theories generated by science. Science deals in testable claims. A theory risks falsification, but grows stronger with repeated evidence. Gravity, evolution, and germ theory all have faced mountains of testing, and yet continue to withstand scrutiny. That is how probability shifts in rational inquiry. Christianity does not operate this way. If every event in reality can be explained away by invoking sin, demons, or divine mystery, then Christianity is not falsifiable. And what is non-falsifiable cannot gain probability through the failure of competing ideologies. It stays stuck in the same category as Superman, vampires, or any number of imaginary gods. Imagine you have an endless pile of jigsaw puzzle pieces, but no guiding picture. Discovering that one piece doesn't fit tells you nothing about whether another piece fits. Likewise, showing that one religion is incoherent doesn't tell you Christianity is true. The set of possibilities is still infinite. Yet, some theologians push back. They argue that Christianity's coherence sets it apart, or that historical evidence, such as the resurrection, lends unique weight, or that personal spiritual experiences offer a kind of testability. Others say faith is necessary and the only proper epistemic method to apply to Christian claims. These responses might sound compelling at first, but let's examine them carefully. Coherence is not truth. Elaborate mythologies can be perfectly coherent and still entirely fictional. Historical evidence, when it comes to Christianity, leans heavily on documents of faith rather than independent corroboration. Spiritual experiences are subjective and occur across all religions, undermining their exclusivity. Faith as an epistemic tool collapses into arbitrariness, since it can validate contradictory faith-based ideologies with equal force. Underlying all of this is a classic logical misstep, the false dilemma. It's the illusion that if one option fails, the other must be right. But real life rarely offers only two options.
If socialism fails, capitalism must be the answer.
Not so. There are other economic systems.
If restaurant B is terrible, then restaurant A must be the best.
What about restaurant C or D, or none at all? And in religion?
If Islam is false, Christianity must be true.
The error is the same. You cannot leap from the failure of one option to the validation of another. This is why Christian leaders often lean on their audience's unfamiliarity with probability theory. By painting the debate as a simple duel between Christianity and Islam or dogmatic atheism, they frame it as if disproving one entails embracing the other. But reality is far richer, far wider. There are infinite, untestable claims that can be invented at will. The only way to cut through that infinity is by demanding actual testability. Without it, Christianity cannot claim epistemic superiority. If Christianity wants to step beyond the fog of infinite untestables, it must offer testable claims and risk falsification. Without testable claims, it remains just another story in the pantheon of unverifiable tales. So the next time someone tells you that knocking down another worldview makes theirs stronger, remember that the claim is logically incoherent. The absence of evidence for one theory is not evidence for another. If this conversation has sparked some questions or even some discomfort, that's a good thing. Questioning is the first step toward clarity. Don't settle for easy answers or platitudes. Dive deeper, explore further, and demand evidence. Head over to Free of Faith to read the full article and join the discussion. Let's keep this conversation going, because the pursuit of truth doesn't stop at questioning. It's about finding answers that actually make sense. Thank you for tuning in to the Free of Faith podcast, where we expose the logical failings of faith and celebrate the clarity that comes with reason. Until next time, stay skeptical, stay curious, and remember, rationality always outperforms faith. Engage reality, and I'll see you soon.